First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista. Hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday morning. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about with sports, so let's talk about, first of all, we've got some guests in the studio.
We do. We got some special guests from ALA that I coach. There's athletes over there. They're outstanding students. Today they're going to spend a little time with me riding along, and one is Miley, another one's Ruby. We know her as Happy, so it's hard to, I say Ruby, like, who's Ruby? But Happy, if your friends are listening, they'll know exactly. So girls, say hi to everybody on the radio.
Hey.
There we go. That's why we didn't have to do an interview, all right? But girls, it's going to be fun today. They're going to go down. We're going to give a tour of the sheriff's office and some other facilities and just spend a few hours this morning with them. So girls, thanks for coming out today.
And let's go ahead and talk about soccer to kick off the morning.
Soccer, a couple things in soccer. First of all, shout out to the Barracudas, my little U10 team. They end up getting second in their league. Great. They lost 4-1 in the championship, but for a team that people didn't give a lot of credit to, a lot of thoughts to, they fought through their season, into the season 7-3, and like I said, made it to the championship, but lost 4-1 to a very good little team. And so kudos to the kids.
And so we also have, like, your favorite topic here, U of A sports.
Before we get to the downsides of the news, let's
No, really. We got to talk about this.
But I forgot my soccer.
Here we go.
Here we got to talk before we get to U of A. Let's keep it on a positive note. Oh, I'm an ASU guy. Everybody, don't start saying, "Why is the sheriff so rough on U of A?" I'm ASU. We don't get to go to sporting events unless we're sitting in the bleachers and as watchers. We're not the
sporting events are at the bars downtown.
Yeah, at the clubs. That's true. That's true. They're still having fun, just in a different way.
Right.
They're just not competing. But ALA is also having a soccer camp starting Monday through Friday of next week from 6 p.m. to 7:30. All ages. We got a special coach who played professional soccer going to come out. I spent some time with him this week. He's going to lead the camp, but it's free of charge. So bring your kiddos out, high school all the way down. We'll split them up in groups, but Domingo Pius on Monday at 6 o'clock. It goes run from Monday to Friday, 6 to 7:30. We'll finish up every night with some fun things. But again, it's free of charge. Come on out. We'll get you signed up there when you come out. Very simple process, but it's for the kids. So starting Monday for the ALA soccer camp.
And there's also an Avenger game.
There was an Avenger game. The Avengers are kids with special needs. So public safety, police, fire, EMS all came out last weekend to play the game. So and what a special time. These kids were embracing. It was just a cool thing. So thanks to Chief Heiser and his team, my deputies that came out, the firefighters, everybody that came out and led a hand to be part of that cool event. Now we got to go back to.
Now we can do U of A.
What's U of A? Yeah, U of A. That's it.
Yeah, U of A. Yeah, that's what we need to do for the Super Regionals. They're going to go against the Tar Heels.
I got to concede. They're doing amazing in baseball this year, the Wildcats, and they made it to the Super Regionals. But the challenge is, and they've been knocking off some pretty tough opponents, but they're taking on the number one team in the rankings, number one team in the country, here, North Carolina Tar Heels. So again, Carol, celebrate early. Because I don't know what's going to happen at the game, but celebrate from now to then.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Can you feel the love?
You can feel it, But in all fairness, I think they're going to win. I think U of A is your Cinderella. They're at the dance. They're going to do it. I think you're going to see some pretty cool things.
The
from
shoe
U of A.
will fit.
Oh, that's good.
I know.
Yeah, the shoe will fit. Yeah, that's a slipper, by the way.
How about a shout out for Bob Randall?
Bob Randall. We all know Bob. Bob started with the Sheriff's Department, and then he bumped his head and went to a city agency, Service to Police Department, for his career. Ended up retiring. Came to Tombstone Marshal's office after that, and was the marshal for about 5 years. And he just had a meeting yesterday with the mayor and Bob and my team as we did a transition. And so Bob has taken over as marshal again for Tombstone. So the city put out a thing yesterday. So congratulations, Bob. We wish you well. And like we told him, we're embracing Bob and the operation, so whatever he needs will be there. I know his fellow chiefs will be the same way.
And another shout out for Jane Strain from Cochise College.
Yes, those that don't know Jane Strain. Jane's a former military, Bob Strain, the former mayor of Sierra Vista. Jane's just a sweetheart. So Jane's been on the Cochise College governing board along with many other community outreach programs here. She's a huge supporter of making this community better. So, but she has stepped down, resigned, retired, however you want to look at it, from the Cochise College governing board, and is moving to be with family. And so she is heading back to Illinois. And so Monday there's going to be a little celebration luncheon for her. And but Jane, I just want to say on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, the men and women, thank you for all your support, and thank you what you've done for this community.
The Cochise County Sheriff's Charity Ride is coming up in November, and right now on the Sheriff's Facebook page, if you're a 501c3, pinned to the top is the application to get the funds from the Charity Ride, and there's also some more news about the Charity Ride.
Yeah, come be a recipient. Put an application in, the committee will review it, but this program is all funded through community sponsors. And as you saw on our Facebook, and Clarissa and all the good people from Right Way who have stepped up to be a huge partner, and Bergs, Tyler and Beth Johnston from Bergs. I mean, thank you. But Right Way stepped up this week, first one to step up to be a partner, a sponsor. So thank you, Clarissa, and all your team over there. And you can look at that Right Way. But we're looking for more. So if you're sitting there this morning going, yeah, I want to support that. It's a great event, Charity Ride. We support veterans, children's, animal organizations, things that make this community better, and that's the first Saturday of every November.
And we've been pretty busy this week. So we had quarterly awards, and there were a lot of them.
Oh, there was. I mean, we did a little catch-up, too, in all fairness. We did a little catch-up. But our quarterly awards from SWORN, which is the sworn ranks, your deputies, detention officers, your support staff, and I get them all. I think I got the four groups.
Yes.
Yeah, all of them. But I really want to hit on the employees of the year for 2024, and that is for SWORN, Jess Luna, one of our detectives who works in there. She's done an amazing job for us. Civilian was Roy Clark, works in our property evidence detention. Sasha Helton, and volunteer. This name doesn't need to be introduced because people know him, and that is Leo Tobolsky, the Eagle. So Leo has actually retired military, retired from us in the SWORN ranks. He works in detention around part-time doing backgrounds and also a volunteer. So Leo, thank you so much for everything you do, and congratulations to all of Jess and Roy and Sasha for their awards.
And Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative is the sponsor of this show, and we always want to give shout-outs to them. But you also went to a luncheon.
I did, but I forgot what award I think is really important. Grady, I'd be remiss, and that is Carol. Carol sitting to my left. And Carol is 29 years old.
Yes.
But we just recognize her for her tenure award, which matches. But she's pushing, 30? You got your 35-year award. But even though you've been here, you're pushing 40 years. So thank you. There's 4 of us left from the 80s, Carol being one of them, and Ursula Ritchie was the other one. But thank you, Carol, for your tenure here. I mean, the institutional knowledge, you can never replace that. I mean, you and I have grown our careers together, and we've watched this place change, good, bad, and sometimes ugly, but overall very, very good.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And now to SSVEC.
Yes, thanks to SSVEC. They had a nice luncheon yesterday up in Benson at the golf course. Attended that, and a lot of the community leaders were there. Just a nice time to bring everybody together. SSVEC talked about some of the things going on, but it was just a nice luncheon. And for those that don't know, they sponsor this show. Thank you to SSVEC. Thank you, Jason, and all those that support our power. We take it for granted. We turn the lights on, and when that power comes on, think of SSVEC.
And especially if you don't have it,
Especially-
watch out.
Well, it's hot, so think
Yes.
about when you turn on your AC or your swamp pool, whatever it is to make you cool. That is a result of SSVEC. So thank you guys for what you do, guys and gals.
And you wanted to talk about Juneteenth.
Juneteenth is tomorrow. The celebration over at Tompkins Park, which is the one located at Buffalo Soldier Trail and 7th Street. They'll be doing the flag raising at Tompkins Park at 9 o'clock, open to the public. And so if you got a few minutes, you want to bring the children and family, come over and support this historical event.
And you're also going to be busy with a cattle growers meeting.
Yeah, that's at 9 o'clock in Wilcox. So you see how my schedules conflict out very quickly. So I will actually be in Wilcox tomorrow for the annual Cochise Graham Cattle Growers annual meeting. I'll be speaking at 10 tomorrow and just talking about what we're doing at the Sheriff's Office. I mean, the partnership we have with the cattle growers is amazing. So, again, it's a great program. We work very well with our ranchers and farming, agriculture folks, which is very important to Arizona and the livelihood. So we're going to be up there supporting them tomorrow night.
And last Saturday, you were at Cochise serving veterans.
Actually, one of my chiefs went up there because I had a conflict on another event. And so, but that is, I went there the year before and spoke at their introduction. But Chief Tom Malinen, who has served 50 years, I want to give him a shout out. Next month will be 50 years in service, but also served in Vietnam. So he actually went up and did an introduction thoughts before they kicked that off. But that's an event where resources for all our veterans come together for a one-stop shop for veterans in our community. Benson's been hosting that, and I know Mayor Conrad was up there, and many, many others that actually supported that great event.
And also the Army's birthday, 250 years.
250 years. And I know next Friday they'll be cutting the cake up on Fort Huachuca. They're having a run at 6 in the morning, and I got invited to come do the run with the general and everybody, but I'll just tell you, I'm like, is there a car or I can drive the general? There's something else I can do besides put these feet to work. And so I'm going to do a little bit, though, because Chief Heiser, who likes to run everywhere, Chief Heiser has a way, he have a red light on his head, and he would run to work and make stops that way. But I'm not him. He's young. I'm older. So, but either way, I'm going to be up there supporting the cause and supporting the 215th birthday of the Army. So next week, if you see a bunch of soldiers running around celebrating, that's probably why. So kudos to our Army.
And Carol, tell us about some of the scams that we have going on right now.
You know, people's phones are ringing off the hook. And I noticed this, that if you answer one of the calls, you know, we encourage people, if you don't recognize the number, just don't answer it and let them leave you a message. And that's probably the best course of action. But if you answer it, even if you hang up, you get, it's some kind of algorithm. And so you get 5 more calls, and then they just come from different locations, even U.S. Border Patrol in Naco, even in Tucson numbers, even Tucson Police, Bisbee Police, Sierra Vista Police. And even if they leave you a message, we try to encourage people not to pay any money. So someone just lost another $4,000. And it's not ignorance on the part of the victim. It's just simply that these criminals are that good. And they are very persuasive, they get aggressive, and they make people understand or believe that they have warrants for their arrest or some horrible action is going to take place. So please, we cannot stress enough, just hang up the phone. Don't fall for that.
Yeah, and they're so believable, but they're also very pressured. They're no different than somebody trying to sell you something. So before you give a dollar bill to anybody, if it doesn't seem right or it doesn't ring a bell, like, hey, I know I'm not wanted, I know I haven't been in trouble, but before you fall for any of that stuff, pick up the phone. Listen, if you're wanted, like they say you have a warrant for your arrest, does it matter if you hang up and then call law enforcement to verify that? Either way, if you're wanted, you're wanted. You know, but I guarantee you, if you have a warrant, we're not calling you. We're not going to, hey, you got a warrant. No, it doesn't work that way, you know. So please, don't give a dollar bill, especially over a phone, or if you get a weird letter or something like that. Call us. Let us verify. We don't mind doing that, because once that 4,000 is gone, it is gone in 99% of the cases. 1% we get lucky, and I say lucky.
And if you do have a warrant, this is just a question for maybe the listeners and myself. If you have a warrant, is there any way to pay it off, or do you just have to go deal with it?
You got to go to the courts. So if you have knowledge there's a warrant, somebody comes up and say, hey, there's a warrant, however you find out, go to the courts and you can settle it. I mean, you can settle it with the courts. Hey, I forgot to pay a fine. Here it is. And 9 times out of 10, they quash it right there.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to go to jail. But if you ignore it or you avoid it or you run it, well, I mean, you're running from us, yeah, that's a whole different story. That's why we have the ability to now detain you. But if you take care of it like responsibility, yes, there's no problem with that. But again, there's good ways to handle this. If you call the sheriff's office, hey, I'm checking to see if I have a warrant, yeah, we'll work with you. We'll work with you. But please don't give a dollar bill to anybody, and don't let them pressure you. Don't let them pressure you.
And speaking of warrants, we do have a warrant out for a case in San Simon.
We do. This is the case that happened February of this year, where a truck driver pulls into the San Simon rest area off I-10, getting out of his truck, and an altercation took place. He ended up calling 911 twice. There's a very horrific 911 video or audio on that. Long story short is he's hanging on for his life right now. I mean, he's on life support. It's not a good situation. My prayers go out to the family and him. This was a tough case. The thousands of cars that in and out of I-10, you know, how do you figure the transient community up there? My detectives, and I'm going to give them a huge shout out, worked their tails off on this case to actually identify a potential suspect. They went back east. They did search warrants with the law enforcement back east, and they have identified a suspect. And they found the truck that the suspect was driving, did a search warrant on that. Long story short is the individual we're looking for is a 41-year-old male out of Pennsylvania that fled the country now. That's what we're being told. We're looking for him. I did a media with it yesterday, so kudos to my team to identify this, bring some justice to the victim, but more important is we're working with Interpol, which is international law enforcement connectivity, if you want to call it, and we're going to locate this guy, and we're going to bring him home for justice.
And that's multiple agencies working together on this particular case. But it happens all the time, and it's getting harder out there for law enforcement. There's so many news stories that have just popped up about aggression towards law enforcement officers.
It is. Look at Apache Junction Police Department. That officer was shot this week, responding to an incident. And they shot him right in the face. I mean, and he's in critical condition. Last I heard, it's not a good situation. That family up there, that I'm talking about the law enforcement family from Apache and all those that work in that area, his personal family, and our law enforcement family as a whole. I mean, granted, they got the suspect, but at the end of the day, I mean, you got an officer that's fighting for his life that was out there protecting the community. And people forget. I mean, they had another incident last night where the county sheriff's office looking for an individual. They did a drive-by shooting, I think it was, Carol.
Right.
And that he had body armor on, armed, and then they had a shootout. They killed him, though.
Right, the suspect died.
I think the sheriff's deputies killed him up there by Coconino County. But, again, it's a different flavor. And I always say this, when you have, whether it be national, state, or local leaders that don't support law enforcement, and that's your right. It truly is. But when you're vocalizing, you're in a position of leadership, and you don't support law enforcement, all you're doing is fueling evil because they take advantage of that. And we've seen that. Look at the guy that was, I can't remember where it was at, but that was lighting people on fire. This guy that was out there in the middle of a plaza that planned this, actually orchestrated how to harm others, and was throwing fire bombs on them, the Molotov cocktail, what they're called. But it's just sad to see that kind of violence because all that does is spark others. It fuels others. So I've said this, when we're out there doing our jobs, trust me, thanking a law enforcement officer goes a long ways. But number two is we're special here, and I say it in a positive way, that we know if we're on a traffic stop or we're in a business that we have good people out there, more good than bad, that are watching our backs. And thank you for that.
And slow down and move over if you see law enforcement.
Yes.
It's a huge issue. It's for, ambulance, fire trucks, law enforcement vehicles. You just don't stop in the middle of the road. Move to the right.
Yes. Hit those things. It's a big, long pedal. It's called a brake. Activate that because a lot of our stops are on the highways. I mean, we don't work on the city. A lot of we make stops in the city. Don't get me wrong, but most of our stuff's out in the rural parts of our county, on the interstate, on the state highways, on the county highways. But I made a stop this week, and cars fly by like you're not even there, and a lot of officers perish that way. They get hit, and then it's like, oh, I didn't mean to hit you. Well, slow down. There is a state law on that. It's called move over, and when we make a traffic stop, we have dual concerns. Number one is who's in the car, got to address the driver, how's this going for our own officer safety. But when you got to be distracted because you're worried about drivers going to hit you, that's a secondary thought. And trust me, when I'm on these stops like I was this week, with if you have a difficult driver, someone wants to argue with you or yell at you, you are distracting us, not just from what this threat may be, but also people going by at a high speed. So please, slow down for us when you see emergency lights. And we've talked about that over the last 3 or 4 years. Saves your lives, saves our lives.
And what is your stop of the week?
Our stop of the week was a speeding vehicle. Listen, I get it. People get in a hurry, especially on some of the rural roads, the highways. And this guy was like, I was coming down the hill, and I got going too fast. Sir, you're 17 miles over the speed limit. I don't think the hill did that. I think your foot did that with the intent behind the brain. But so slow down, everybody. Slow down, because once we get you, then people go, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we are too, because you're taking it away from something else. Just slow down. We keep saying that. You look at the amount of accidents we're having in Cochise County, Sierra Vista, and throughout, that you look at all these accidents you see on Cool FM or Sierra Vista Live, it's all because usually one reason, people are in a hurry, or their attention's not focused on driving. It's on something else. And I get we're all busy. Cell phones have not been our friend when it comes to safe driving. We all know that too. So yeah, slow down and be careful out there.
And social media trends are huge. So we're going to start off with one that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
There is a new thing called dusting, and maybe it's not new. Maybe it's just like my advanced brain is thinking it's new. But where your kids or people are trying to get that next high. And one of the ways that they're doing that is using the air cleaner that you clean your keyboards with. You can buy it anywhere. You don't have to have an ID. There's no age restriction. And it's just simply what it does is it makes carbon dioxide replace the oxygen in your body. It ruins your vital organs, your liver, your kidneys, your lungs. And a 19-year-old Tempe student, unfortunately, she passed away just by doing this, for chasing that next high. And there's so many things out there. And it's a challenge that is actually going around on social media for people to try this. And once they try it, they realize, wow, this is pretty cheap. I don't have to worry about any side effects. I don't have to worry about my parents knowing or my friends knowing that I'm doing it. But please pay attention if you see any of these things happening, and have that dialogue with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your kids, making sure that this is a serious issue, and now it's hit Arizona.
Well, yeah, I mean, the innocence within social media is really not innocent. You look at something like this, that somebody had to start that, whether it's dusting or some of the other bad things, run across the highway. We're talking to Happy and Miley this morning about these trends on social media, and that's one of the reasons I have, especially young people, come out ride with me, to see the reality of what we do on this end of it. But I say this, when you give your child a cell phone, you've opened them up to the world. But don't forget, you've also opened your child up to the world and the fact that they're exposed to. So it's and I asked both Miley and Happy this morning, I call her Happy, this morning, because she's always smiling, and that's a positive. But I asked both of them, do they have parental oversight on their phones? And both of them do. And I said, that's a positive. That means your parents care. Not because they're trying to be intrusive, but they care because they know the vulnerabilities and evil they're trying to get to both of you guys. So, again, watch your kids' phones. Know what's going on there because somebody's preying on them. I can promise you on that. So please keep an eye on that one. And this dusting thing, what a sad thing.
It is.
The innocence that took a life now. But there's a new one out there that Grady, did you know about it, Grady?
No, this is the one I didn't know about, but go ahead and explain it.
It's called Andy's Coming.
Oh, that's what I did know about. Carol didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that
Oh,
one.
that's right. You did
Yes,
know
yes,
about it
yes.
this morning. Yeah.
That one I know.
Yeah,
That's fun.
And it is. Now that's one that it's like the ice bucket challenge. I mean, that's okay, whatever.
Right.
And but the Andy, I saw it the other day on social media, and I thought, well, that's kind of a cool one. And if you watch Toy Story, and I'm gonna give them a shout out here, Toy Story, I love Toy Story. But if you watch Toy Story, they got remember when Andy came in the room, all the little toys would go, Andy's coming, and they'd all just drop like their toys. They're back to normal toys. That's what it is now. So I've seen teachers do it watching it online stuff when they walk in, Andy's coming, and then all the kids just drop. These are adults doing this too. So you adults driving and say, well, that's stupid. You guys are doing it too. Adults are doing it too. Well, they just drop. It's really cool. And I've asked Miley, Happy, you guys know about this, right? And in fact, Happy said she did it already. She's already done it. So it's really cool that is. So if you hear that one, Andy's coming, that means you just got to drop right there and act like a toy. Act like a toy.
How long do you have to stay dropped?
Until Andy leaves.
You go with Andy leaves. Andy's
Really?
gone, yes. Toys don't
Okay.
get back up right away. They're going to act like a toy.
Got it.
But just a little preview as a Pixar fan, the new Toy Story 5, Toy Story 5, is scheduled not just to come out in theaters, but global theaters. Global. That shows you how popular it is. On June 19th of 2026. So there's a new Toy Story coming out. That made your day great. If you're saying, I don't care, Sheriff, I get it too.
They should watch it. Get a.
Oh, yeah, how do you go wrong? I mean, with everything going on, with all the stressors, the challenges, watch Toy Story. Things will get better, I promise you.
I don't think this will work on radio, but let's try it. Andy's coming.
How can you guys didn't get down? Happy and Miley didn't get down. I'm disappointed. We'll talk about that after the show. All right, here we go.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And Michelle, thank you so much for being here from Lori's Place.
Thank you guys for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what's been going on with Lori's Place.
Oh my goodness, we have been busy. We just had our third annual golf tournament last Friday, and it was a huge success. We had about 100 players show up and great sponsors, and we were presented with a $10,000 check from Crest Insurance. They are our new corporate sponsors.
That's a good deal.
Yes, it was a great deal. We had a wonderful day. Everybody had a good time out there at Mountain View Golf Course. So, our sponsors and Ed Morse had a car out there, and somebody was so close to getting the car, but not quite. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great day.
Good. And you guys were busy, too, with the academy, our law enforcement academy.
Yes.
They hosted a baseball game, and the proceeds went to your facility. So, and you guys were out there.
Yes, we stopped out there. I did not stay all day. Apparently, they played until 9:30 at night,
Oh
and
my
they
gosh.
started at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So they were out there all day long playing. But yeah, we were presented with the proceeds from that, and so grateful to the Academy, and I just want to congratulate all of them again on their graduation.
And what else are you working on for expanding your services?
Well, so we're still always looking for corporate sponsors. We just partnered with Syracuse University to do social work internships, and we have also partnered with Charlie Health to expand our mental health services. So they provide, it's virtual online mental health resources, so counseling, group therapy for ages 11 to 50, and it's all trauma-informed therapy. So we're working with them and expanding those resources, and we've got a couple other things in the mix that we're looking at doing with a couple other colleges and universities. So just really trying to get things growing for Lori's Place.
And of course, to grow, you need funds, and you've received some funds just recently.
Yes, we have. So SSVEC, last Thursday night, we just were presented with a $15,000 check from SSVEC, and it was matched with a $15,000 check from CoBank, and we are forever grateful for that. And then yesterday, just out of the blue, I got a check from Southwest Gas Foundation for $2,500. And that was, I wasn't even expecting that. I didn't know that was coming either, so that was a big surprise. So, the corporate sponsorship thing right now, if you're a small business, if you're a local business and you want to get involved and you want to sponsor Lori's Place, we have so many different tiers available that will work with whatever you're able to do. We'd love to have you as a corporate sponsor. If you want to just give me a call at 520-515-4444, or you can email me directly at michelle@lori'splaceaz.org.
And remind everybody of what Lori's Place does for this community.
So Lori's Place, we take care of victims of violent crimes. So victims of rape, sexual assault, domestic violence, strangulation, child abuse, child neglect, elder abuse, human trafficking, sex trafficking, all of it. We collect evidence. We do the forensic interviews. We do the forensic medical exams. We have peer support services, mental health services, follow-up care, everything in one building, so that the victims in Cochise, Graham, and Greenlee counties, we can help them become survivors.
And that's why expanding the mental health is also so important.
Hugely important. The mental health portion of it is a big, big thing, because people can go to the hospital and get a sexual assault exam, but the follow-up care and that mental health portion of it, when you've experienced a trauma like that, it's really hard to deal with on your own.
So we're going to get some contact information from you in just a moment, but we want to remind everybody that whether you want to use your services, like you feel like you need to talk to somebody, you could do that. But also if you want to help and volunteer, or if you want to give money or sponsor or support, all of those things can be done at one place.
Yes. So they can contact me, again, 520-515-4444. They can go to our website at lori'splaceaz.org. They can go to our Facebook page at Lori's Place AZ 2022. or they can email us at admin@lori'splaceaz.org.
Well, we appreciate everything that Lori's Place does in our community because it's just fulfills a need that needs to be there. And thank you to everybody that supports Lori's Place.
Absolutely. Thank you to all of our sponsors, everybody that sponsored and participated in the golf tournament, all of the donors throughout Cochise County, Graham and Greenlee counties, and beyond that, we can't thank you enough for everything you do.
Well, Michelle, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, guys.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Janet Morlock from the Linus Project.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and welcome Janet Morlock from the Sierra Vista Lions Club to talk about all things Lions Club and the Linus Project.
You did it.
So I know, say that 5 times real fast. So thank you so much for being here.
That was pretty excellent. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back.
So tell us a little bit about what the Sierra Vista Lions Club does, because we haven't maybe heard about it for a while. So we appreciate you here kind of sharing this information.
Sierra Vista Lions Club is coming on its 70th year of supporting the citizens of Sierra Vista in some of our little outlying areas. So actually the Sierra Vista Lions Club was the Sierra Vista Lions Club before Sierra Vista was Sierra Vista. So we're a year older than the town, but I guess they must have known that someday this was going to be called Sierra Vista, so they took on the name. So that's kind of a little bit of a factoid. But what we do primarily is we support vision services. I know Terry Romo's in the house today, and we've done vision screening at Sierra Vista schools for years. We also go all over the county with that, so pretty much anywhere the sheriff's office will go with a patrol vehicle, we'll go with vision screening machines. We also support, some of the domestic crisis centers. We have a Relay for Life team, to be involved with that, because one of the Lions global causes is childhood cancer. So if you happen to come to Relay, we'll be the team in the gold shirts.
And so when you say you go everywhere with these devices to help with the visual, does anybody contact you, or do you have schools contact you, community groups contact you? How do you plan your visits?
That's a school activity because we have the kids all in one place. The machines are really cool. They're especially good for preschool and special needs kids because they don't need to read a chart. The machine can tell us what's going on with their eyes. And one of the things, and that's Mark Gens runs that, who actually retired from the sheriff's office a few years back. So he's got time, and he's with the Lions, and he runs that project. So he has a pretty good network. I believe he already has had 4 of the schools call him and set up for next year. So that's kind of one of our signature projects. But so we're out and about. There was a little confusion when one of the other Lions clubs in town had to shutter. They just kind of aged out, and it was time for them to move on to other things. But we're still alive and well. We also provide glasses for youth and adults in need, and we work with St. Vincent de Paul Neighborhood Alliance and those organizations to make sure we get those out to the people that maybe their only barrier to success is they just can't see the world around them clearly. So we provide glasses and screening for those folks too. So it's kind of a cool way to be involved on the fringes of the world. But our absolute favorite project that we've been doing for just a little over a year now is Project Linus.
That's right. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. You've now joined up with the Salvation Army for a location to do it. So tell us what Linus is all about.
Project Linus is pretty cool. And one of our Lions Club members was looking around, and she had talked to some people at one of the conferences in the state for Lions when she attended, and somebody had said they do this thing called Project Linus. And so she asked what it was about, and found out that what they do is they get groups together and they make blankets, handmade, homemade blankets for kids in crisis. Project Linus, we found out later, is in all 50 states. And I have also found out that they have made more than 1 million blankets to date and provided them. But what makes these blankets special is everyone's handmade. Now, we do some easy. Anybody who can tie a knot can come help us with these, so I'll get into that a little more later. But it's fleece blankets, and we have people who make quilts and people who crochet. So Lori got on the phone, the lady who found our line, who found out about it, and she goes, hey, what do I do? And she hooked up with Rennie from Project Linus in Tucson and said, we want to help. We want to make blankets. So we tried doing it in somebody's living room, but we could only invite about 8 people, so we couldn't make a lot of blankets. So when the Sierra Vista Lions Club was looking for a new home, I happened to come across Captain Heather from the Sierra Vista Salvation Army, and they have that big, beautiful community center. And she goes, well, what can we do? And I said, well, I need a place for meetings, and if I had a big enough place, I could also maybe bring some projects to the community, and I talked to her about Linus. I wasn't super excited about it yet, but I was super excited about it now. And so Captain Heather invited us in, and you guys graciously allowed us to come by and talk about it on the radio. And so now, since April of 2024, we've been making blankets. And so last time we talked to you in January, we had got excited because we'd had maybe 25, 30 people show up, make some blankets. We'd maybe walked out the door with 30, 40 blankets. And then the January event, when we came in and advertised that with you guys, we had almost 50 people show up. We walked out the door with incredible numbers. We ended up with, I'm not good at numbers, but we ended up with probably a sum total of 53, 63, 73. We walked out with over 80 blankets. We had 53 of the fleece that we tied with the folks that were there. We had people walk in and bring us quilts. We had people coloring little quilt squares that we bring in fabric. Looks like coloring book pages. And anybody can get a fabric marker and color those. And then we send them home with people who make quilts, and they bring them back to us as beautiful quilts. We had 20 people walk in, and they had crocheted beautiful Afghans blankets, old school art. Who crochets and knits anymore? Project Linus supporters do. And so here we are, and we had, you know, a 6-year-old that was part of a scout troop making blankets. And we had an 83-year-old lady who was making blankets, and everything in between. We had high school kids making blankets. We had church groups making blankets. People, you know, and I asked them where they'd heard about it, and they'd heard about it because who doesn't listen to the radio? So we've had great response from the media in Sierra Vista. It's just exciting, and not only are we making blankets, we're forming some pretty cool connections. We had a couple ladies come in and on one of the events, and my tables were full. We ended up using, if you've ever been to the Salvation Army where they feed lunch, we could fill that whole place up, and surprisingly. And it's kind of cool because what we found with her is, with that facility, is we get people in. So I had a lady come in, and she was by herself. She was kind of maybe a little bit younger than me, but who isn't? And so she was by herself, and I said, I'm going to sit you by yourself, but I'm going to find somebody to work with you. Somebody else came in before I could even go bum in somebody from another table to help, to hang out with her. She was also alone. So these two ladies came in, they tied knots, they made blankets, they cut fringe, they laughed, they giggled, and they had left having exchanged phone numbers with a lunch date for next week. So community connections, and that's one of those things that Sierra Vista is really about. Coming down the line a little bit longer, we had a little guy come in with his mom. They'd heard about us on the radio on their while they were out running around doing errands. And he said he saw crocheters, and he says, Mom, can I go get my stuff? Because and he looks at me because I'm learning how to crochet. He came in with some yarn. He came in with his little crochet hook, and he looked at a lady who had a piece of fleece, and you can crochet around the edge to turn just that plain old fleece like people make their sports blankets out of into a really cool kid's blanket. And he said, can I watch you for a while? And the lady was beaming. You know, she's probably in her 70s. Maybe her grandkids are nowhere close. She had a grandkid for the morning. And she had that little guy crocheting the most beautifully scalloped edges within an hour of sitting down. So we have a kid who got to be in an environment where he not only learned the value of community service and the value of helping others, he met a new friend. And she got to be with a kid today, and watching that glow and that smile, it's incredible. We had a lady come in whose child got Project Linus blankets, a fresh, clean one every day in the hospital for Tucson. The child didn't make it, but she still had the blanket, and they made matching blankets for his twin brother. So she came in and told us last time, have a family come in, and I look, and I got this mama, and I got 6 little kids following her like ducks in a row, and I'm going, let the chaos begin. I'm going to sit them down and get them to color some quilt squares. And so I went over and I sat down and I visited with them for a while. And the reason they were there is because they'd asked the nurse on his last hospital visit up in Tucson, oh, where do the blankets come from? We'd like to help. They live down in Sierra Vista. So he came and he got to give back, and he got to share how much he loved his blankets, and he was super excited because he was making blankets for other people. And the high school kids, we need a next generation of volunteers. You know, I'm pushing 70 with a stick that's not too short. I'm almost as old as my club. And so those are the things. I get excited about those third order effects, I guess, as much as the blankets. But anyway.
So now what they can do is all of those stories can be expounded upon by new stories, and that's going to happen Saturday, June 14th. Invite everybody out.
Okay, here you go, community. And some of you out there listen, you know, like my favorite married couple. I know Stacy and Bob. I know you're out there somewhere. And I just want to extend the invitation to the entire community. I will set up more tables. I'll pull out more chairs. I have got tons of fleece. And I'm looking for people who can tie a knot. You know, everybody can tie a knot. If you can tie a knot, you can make a blanket with us. We do easy no-sew fleece. We have crocheters that come and sit and crochet. We have people, if you happen to have crocheted a few blankets, you don't know what to do with them just because they're fun, come by and see me. I can even help you out with more yarn to make more blankets. You get to socialize, you get to visit, you get to make these amazing blankets go to amazing children. I think I forgot to mention what we do with the blankets. Sheriff's office has blankets in some of their cars. The fire department has them. The hospital has them. Our foster care agencies have them, and this is throughout the state. But how they're being used here is helping kids in crisis. The kid that's going through chemo, the kid that's going through the doctor's office, some medical procedure. Instead of getting that plain white sterile blanket, they're getting something that they can keep with them forever. The foster kid who left home with only the clothes on their back is going to have a brand new blanket they're going to pick from the pile over at with the foster folks to have for their very own. Any of the blankets they get, they're theirs forever. Fried fire if they have a kid in a critical incident, critical accident, especially the kid that has to be separated from a parent and a guardian. Instead of that plain white blanket, they're getting something warm and fuzzy and cuddly. The kids in the hospital are getting the quilts that they can take home and use forever. And I think if you're in a position where you've been injured, or in the case of the foster kids, which is my soft spot, you've got nothing that's really yours right now, you've all of a sudden got something that's yours forever that was handmade especially for you. Thanks to Project Linus, the Sierra Vista Lions Club, the Salvation Army, and this amazing community. So come out, tie knots with us, visit with us, have a great time, meet new friends, and that's at the Salvation Army Community Center over on Wilcox, like Carol said, Saturday, the 14th of June, from 9 to noon. Come for the whole thing, but if you only got a few minutes to say hi and see what we're about, or if you got an hour to spare that you want to come work with us, we'd love to have you. I can't wait to meet y'all there.
Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today. And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Terry Romo. She's the new interim superintendent for Sierra Vista Unified School District.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Ms. Terry Romo. She's the interim superintendent for the Sierra Vista Unified School District as of July 1st. So we're being a little bit preemptive here, but that's okay. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, good morning, Sierra Vista. I'm excited to be here and excited for this new role.
Oh, so tell us a little bit about what the role will be.
So Dr. Eric Holmes, who's been serving our district for the last 5 years, is retiring again and returning back to Pennsylvania. And so I'll be taking over as the superintendent for this next school year, and really excited about this opportunity. I am a product of Sierra Vista Unified. I've grown up here. My father was in the military, flew Mohawks planes and retired here. And so I've grown up here, I've attended all of our schools, and excited to be able to have this opportunity to lead.
And tell us a little bit about what your vision is for moving forward.
We know that here in Sierra Vista, families have lots of choices now, and I think that we need to go back to telling our story, telling the amazing things that are taking place in Sierra Vista Unified, because we are a place where we want students and staff to choose to belong.
Well, good. So what are some of these things that you're looking at?
We're really going to focus in on communication. We have some amazing plans with our PIO, Valerie Weller, and really going to reach out. That's one of the areas that we've heard from our families. Please communicate more, tell us more. We have some amazing systems. We're really going to work on our customer service and just really taking the time just to listen and hear what our families and what our staff need from us.
And how many schools are in the district?
We have 6 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. We're very proud. We are an A district. All 6 of our elementary schools are A rated. And we even have our elementary school, Village Meadows, was identified as an A+ school of distinction this year. Very, very proud of our schools.
And so what are some of the other things? And again, we're in the summertime, right? So you have time to formulate project plans. And so kicking off the new school year for everyone, is there something specific that you see that's going to enrich everyone?
I think it's really starting out by taking the time. I have an entry plan that I've laid out and shared with our governing board. Really going to take some time just to listen and to hear community concerns, ideas from our staff, and just really focus in on, like I said, telling those good stories. Buena Scholars, we just had a huge graduation of over 400 kiddos. $5.5 million of scholarships went out to our kiddos. We've got a kiddo in this town who had received appointments to all 5 military academies, Nathan Whitworth. Congratulations to him. We have a National Merit Scholar for the first time. We just have lots of really amazing things going on, whether it's academics, athletics, our sports, I mean, just everything that's going on, band, CTE, amazing things going on, and we just need to tell our story and let people know what we have to offer at Sierra Vista Unified.
That's right. And, you know, there's a lot of stories out there, like you said, and CTE is a good one for the sheriff's office specifically. We integrate with the school to do that. Our sheriff is, you know, always out there doing all kinds of stuff with schools, and as well as our staff, our community outreach. So thank you so much for allowing us to be partners with that. And we look forward to working with you in the new year, too, with some of your other projects that you have.
Yes, it really is going to take all of us. This is an amazing community. Our community is so giving to us here in Sierra Vista Unified, and we are truly blessed to be part of it. And come join us. We've been here for over 60 years, and we have a really bright future ahead.
And Terry, I know you brought some notes. Did we get everything in that you wanted to cover? Do you have anything left?
Like I said, I have a page. I could probably be with you for an hour, so I just think I probably need to come back. But we just have some amazing accomplishments that we would love to be able to share and make sure people are involved and know about. We're going to be doing some videos that we're going to be posting and letting people know about some of the incredible things that are going on, that even some of these things are just even new to me that I didn't realize that were happening. Some of the things up at Buena with our CTE programs. People need to see what's happening in our district, and I look forward to being the face of that as we work together to accomplish great things, because again, we want to create a place where students and staff choose to belong.
And I know we're going to have you on the show a lot more to talk about what's going on through the school year, and we love working with your PIO as well, because that was great. Yep. So go ahead and give a message to the students and the parents and the community, and welcome to that position.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, I am excited to be here. I am excited to hear from all of you. Registration is open and ready. Come on down. We have a welcome center that is ready to greet you and to get you all registered. And so please choose us, and we look forward to working with you as we create an amazing future together.
Well, Terry, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Have a great day.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook, and tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.